I wanted to go over something that I get asked a lot, and that is where you bathe the dog. And I always tell people, obviously, either a kitchen sink, a utility sink, or a bathtub. And some people definitely have a place that they definitely want me to bathe. And if you don't, I always then say I prefer somewhere that has a pull down nozzle. And the reason for that is it makes it easier for me to rinse the dog, and it's also easier and faster for the dog. And a lot of people don't know that. And some people are just used to having, rinsing a dog with a cup or sticking it under the faucet. And I know not everybody has a pull out, like either a shower head or a kitchen sink that has a pull out faucet. And sorry, my dogs are barking. But the benefits of the pull out shower faucets are you can rinse the dog faster, and that way you're definitely making sure that all the shampoo is definitely getting rinsed out, and this is all knowledge definitely for if you're going to bathe your dog at home. And I do have quite a few customers that like to bathe their dogs in between appointments. I've been grooming for 17 years, and one of the main things when you learn to, before you even learn to cut the dog's hair, is you have to become your bather first. And they say in order to become a good groomer, you have to be a good bather first. So that's the first step of becoming a good groomer, is becoming a good bather. So basically, if you're wanting to bathe your dog at home, also having a faucet, and they do make doggy shower faucets that you can attach to your shower heads. I do not bring those because I do not want to attach any of that stuff to any of my customers' faucet heads or anything. I figured I'm not going to get involved in any of that stuff. So, but they do make those if you do want to, and I don't think they're too expensive. I bought one a couple years ago for my dogs years and years ago when I moved back home with my parents for a little bit in between transitions of where I was living. And I don't think they were too expensive. I think they're only like $30 or something like that. And I think you can get those at like PetSmart and stuff like that, or Chewy or something like that. They're not too expensive. And you just attach them onto the shower head. And they're pretty nice. I know one of my customers, she has one, and she has it attached to her utility sink, and it's really nice. And I have a couple customers actually that have those, and they actually attached it to their utility sink because they bathe their dogs in between me coming, and those are really nice. But I definitely wanted to say the benefits of having the pull down shower or something, because it makes it obviously it's easier to rinse the dog, because with the cup you're constantly having to fill up the cup, and you're only constantly getting like one area. Also then second, the dog is kind of getting irritated, because honestly most dogs do not like a bath. I have one dog actually that does like a bath, and that's just because since he was a puppy he liked to get messy all the time, and so he just grew to like getting baths. And I think he actually after a while liked to make a mess so he can get a bath. So now he really likes baths. He doesn't like grooming, but he likes getting a bath. But most dogs do not like getting baths. They're not really supposed to be clean animals. Before we domesticated them, they, live out in the wild. So they like to be stinky. I mean, there's a few out there that like to be clean. I mean, if it was up to the dog, I wouldn't have a job. But third of all, they, and then also, a lot of dogs also don't like their heads rinsed. The noise of the water scares them. Also, when you're using a when you're using a shower, like a shower, pull-down shower or something like that, you can also attach it, put it right to their head. And what that does is it's minimizing the sound of the water. So that way it is not freaking out the dog, and you can basically control where the water is going. Unlike if you're using a cup, or some people will stick their dog underneath the spigot or wherever the water is coming from and freaking out the dog. When you have a shower, when you pull out a shower nozzle, or you can actually control where the water is going, and you can actually put it on their heads. Like when I was a bather, that was one of the things that we learned was because dogs do not like their faces rinsed, you actually put you can take the nozzle, put it right on their heads, like right here, and that way the water is not hitting their head like this, and you're actually putting it right here, so they're not really hearing the sound of the water, so the water is just going like this, and that way it's going down and it's rinsing. So I kind of wanted to show you, this is my kitchen sink. I was going to bring out my dog, but there's a lot of noise going on here where I live. There's a lot of construction going on, and it would just upset, my dogs just are getting upset because of all the construction going on, so it'd just be a nightmare, and then everybody else is just going to get jealous, so I wouldn't be able to make the video, so I'm just going to have to kind of do it without it, because I was going to actually bathe one of my dogs while doing this video, but I can't, because then they just start barking and I won't be able to get anything done. And you can hear one's already barking, and they're barking actually because I have the windows open because it's nice out, but there's all this construction going on, and it's been going on for over almost a year now, and it's driving me nuts, because my dogs just keep barking at it, and they've been doing a lot of explosions and stuff like that around here, and it's fun. So anyway, so here is my kitchen. This is obviously my kitchen sink. Here, this is the only one that has a pull-out faucet in here. It's not huge. I'm trying to get my phone to stay here. I don't really think I did anything there. But so here's obviously my faucet. Now, I only groom small dogs. One of the main reasons is obviously because of grooming in people's homes. It's hard to do bigger dogs in people's homes, because of the bathing, and also just from years of grooming, developing some back issues because of that. But it's not that I don't know how to do bigger dogs. It's just the way I have it set up. I'm hoping maybe years down the road that I will have a grooming van, but at this point I just don't. But so right now I make do with what I have. So like the way I have it set up now, actually, I do this setup. Actually, I have a customer that lives that lives a few doors down from me. He has 2 poodles. I actually do his dogs every couple weeks. So when he contacted me, I already kind of knew the setup, the way his house would be. So I was able to kind of already prepare him when he contacted me about doing a setup. So I told him that I'd have to bathe the dogs in the kitchen sink, because I knew the shower doesn't have a pull down shower, it just has a regular shower. And he was fine with it. One of his dogs is bigger than the other, so it does take up the whole kitchen sink. And it's fine. I mean, he fits in here. He fits in here fine. I'm able to bathe him, and he's still comfortable. And I've been grooming for 17 years. And then I even did this 2 years prior in high school. They had an animal science program, which is one of the reasons I got into grooming. So I'm very seasoned at this. So it doesn't take me very long to bathe an animal. So they're not in here for very long. So a couple minutes, if that, depending on the kind of shampoo that they're getting. So basically, what I would do is I put the dog here in the sink, and this sink actually is pretty deep here actually. And then this one pulls out. It pulls out here, and this one's actually pretty nice. It actually has like three different. Obviously, you know, everyone's gonna have this one. And then it has a high-powered one, and then it has a nice lower one. Now this one, like, I would never really use on a dog. That's just a little bit too much for dogs. Most dogs really can't handle that kind of one. This one I would use. It's not as loud. It's nice. It's not like loud, and it's not as powerful as like this one is. Like this one, you can feel it's like more powerful. Like it would either be this one would be nice, and like this, even like now if I were to do this on a dog's head, like now that this was a dog's head, what I would do is I'm gonna pull down the water here because I don't feel like making a huge mess. I can obviously. So if this was a dog's head, I would take this nozzle and put this right down to the dog's head. Now you're just hearing more water because obviously my hand is pretty small. So, and then you can even, sometimes, I'll even do it with this stream too, sometimes. And sometimes I even, will figure out what the dog likes. Because some dogs actually like this stream better, and some will actually like, this stream. It just kind of depends on the dogs. And now I know everybody's, whatever, if you have like a sink one, if you have a shower, one of those pull-down shower ones, of course, those ones have, like, depending on which ones you have, some of them have, like, 20 different settings. I don't know if they have that many, but some of them have, multiple settings, and, there's tons and tons of those ones. Of course, there's a bunch on there that you won't really want to use on a dog, just because they're too powerful. Like, they're great for us, because some of them are like the massagey type ones, but they're not necessarily great for bathing a dog. You definitely want to use, if you're going to use them at home, you definitely want to use something that's more gentle, opposed to something like, like that one that I was telling you that I wouldn't use. You definitely don't want to use anything like that if you're going to bathe a dog at home. But you definitely, if you have something with like a pull-out thing like this, you definitely want to use something like that, opposed to using a cup or just even sticking your dog underneath the faucet, just because you definitely want to make sure you're rinsing out the shampoo, and it's a little bit less traumatic to the dog. And even I prefer that too, just because it's better for the dog, and honestly, it's a little bit easier on me. I'm also used to using these type of things when I worked in a grooming shop before I had my business, before I started my business in 2010. That's what we used.